Hi, Chris Kuzmal here. We're continuing to implement our linked list class, and right now we have on line 15 the invocation of the search method for our linked list, but we don't have a way of determining whether this passes or fails. We need to create an appropriate test case. And so we'll do that as a public static test search. And what's going to do is we're going to create a linked list just like this. Um, just like that code that we have in the main method, but that's not code we want to have in the main method, right? And what we want this search to produce is a null, right? Because our linked list is empty. So we want to return whether or not the search produces null. And why is it? Oh, it needs to, it returns a Boolean. And so this test should create an empty list and then search for an element that has the key value 3, which it shouldn't find, and it should return null. And remember that right now what we do is we return the head. The head is null, and so this will in fact be correct, but it's fraught. It's fraught, but let's nevertheless, it's a step in the right direction. And so we're going to test search and see whether or not we can increase the number of successful test cases passed to 3. And we can. So hooray, evidence that we've done some coding, we have. It's not all working. And so our goal here is to create a test case that fails. And well, we can get a compile error because fundamentally the thing that we want now is to test whether or not a list that contains things. We can't even create a list that contains things. Why? And let's clean up this code just a tad. And what I would like to do now is I would like to have a linked list, right? I want to do a test search not empty, test search any, okay? And what I want to do is my linked list should, I would like to add elements to my linked list, fl.insert, an element, fe. Of course, fe has to be created as well. That's not hard. I can create an element. That's easy. So I have an element, and I want to insert that into my my linked list, but that's problematic, of course, because there is no insert method for linked lists at this time. Well, we need to create one then. All right. And so that's test-driven development. We wrote a test, and it didn't produce a runtime error, produced a compile time error because we don't even have the method. Fine. So public void insert element A, we'll just call it A. I was going to write add, but I was worried about it being a keyword. Okay, so what do I do here? Well, I could just do head equals A. That kind of does the trick, maybe, right? This is clearly wrong, though. We can imagine we already have an element. So, okay, if the list is empty, right? But later, so we actually want this because we would like a test case that catches the flaw in our implementation. So we make a comment that indicates that this is flawed, but we're not going to do anything else. Public void insert element A, and so let's see whether or not fl.insert. So we're set here. All we need to do is to run test search NE and see if it passes. I don't know. I have 20 seconds. To get either my pass or my fail. I don't know which it's going to do. And it fails. Good. Okay, next time we'll make it so that this test case works.